Welcome back. Sorry for the late video post. I don't really have a way to show you my plasti dipping process. I wish I had access to latex. I don't really have facilities to use it though, so I don't. I haven't been able to paint much of it either because it's been so hot and humid, and I've just been laying on the floor dying. I can't use air conditioning and paint. At any rate, instead of showing you that, I figure I'd talk a little bit about adhesives. We have the DAP Weldwood that I've been using, which is a contact cement, and cyanoacrylate. Now the difference between these, well, crazy glue, super glue, this forms an acrylic. This has a bunch of solvents in it that evaporate and leave the rubber. That's essentially what this one does. And this one uses, kind of like cement, uses moisture in the air to form bonds. That's why a very thin layer cures and coats better and holds a lot better than a thick layer. So use thin layers of cyanoacrylate when you use it. Cyanoacrylate isn't good for a lot of things on cosplay. One, the shear strength is rather low. You'd think that something that instantly adheses your hands together and you can't get it off would be very strong, but it's really not. Secondly, it forms an acrylic, and acrylics are hard and brittle. Now, this takes longer to set and has much more harmful vapors, and yes, even using this bottle, I know I should have been wearing an actual respirator mask. So this will form bonds that are strong, very strong, enduring, flexible, yet firm. Like your mom when she was younger. Whereas this bonds very quickly, very tightly, but is hard and brittle and breaks easily. Like your mom now. It's still very useful for some applications where you want something to set very quickly. I'll use it for decorations and little flexible things on here. The thinner the area you have to bond, the less the fact that it forms an acrylic is a problem. And I shouldn't use it for anything on here. But I joined these two pieces together, and I have a lip there too. So not only are they joined together here with the cyanoacrylate, I also have some on the outside here. Like I said, thick stuff won't cure correctly, but if you press down here, what you would feel is kind of like a blade, a hard edge. Now in that small area with the two joining things, it doesn't matter if it breaks a little bit. It's a lot less prone. So for small detail work, cyanoacrylate's really good. You can also use it with baking soda to make a filler, because you can't use a thick coat, you can only use thin coats, but if you mix it with baking soda, it has a filler. However, it also produces a very, very nasty vapor when you do that, and it's highly exothermic. Exothermic means hot fire, bad burn. So be careful when using this. You don't generally need a respirator unless you're doing something like mixing it with baking soda or mixing it with cotton because you're dumb and you want to fire. Or because you're smart and you want to fire. It's usually one of those two extremes. Whereas contacts with this, and remember how I said it'll go bad very quickly in a container like this? Well, this was my new one from last time. It is completely set now. I'm told you can use acetone to revive these, but I don't dare, especially in a plastic container, because the acetone will probably eat the container as well. But it forms strong, flexible bonds. It'll bond lots of things that wouldn't otherwise be able to bond. That's why these edges are like that. You can see, you can't really see the edge. Right here, you can see where I added some thumb grips and then cut off the back. I didn't actually cut that in. That is where the contact cement didn't hold very well when I applied heat to it. I did this one very quickly for fun when I was frustrated with working on this one. And this one has no rod in it. And as you can see, it is still two pieces. Actually, it's three pieces. This bottom ring is a completely separate piece I glued on after the fact. But even though it's joined like that, I can do this, and there's no cracking noises, nothing, because there's no anything in there. It's essentially a single surface now, for the purposes of working on things. Whereas this, if I tried that, it would break, so I'm not going to do that. But that's what I've been doing. Sorry for not posting more, and now I will show you some of the ways I got these little things all cut in there. Little doodads and whatnots. Now, what I did to make these was essentially I carved in a slit with a knife and then hit it with the heat gun. And the EVA foam will open up when that happens, making shallow cuts much deeper. Kind of like when you're dumped in high school as opposed to when you're dumped now. Now, there's no super good trick to this. There's no, oh, this is how you do it and then it's all good. And I'm going to add hashed handles, cross-hatch handle on here. You just have to have good blade work. And as Adam Savage will tell you, good blade work always leads to happiness. Now, I'm not even sure if you can see the cuts I'm making. I'm trying to keep them even and shallow. And then you go to a 90-degree angle, or close to it. And let's see, if I just ruined my entire project, I'll hit it with the heat gun. I'll then put the heat gun back. Hopefully it won't catch a fire or destroy me, as it is wont to do. And now I have these nice little cross-hatched marks there, which makes for a very secure grip. So that'll add some pizzazz. And I think this will be just about the final blade shape because I'm lazy and can't do much other work on this and still get the work done on my other costumes that I want to get done, or I want to almost get done and fail. So the next step will be plasti dipping, which I can't really show you again, sorry. And then painting. So I can show you some of the painting later. Until then, I am Brandon. I will see you at TatsuCon.